He is like the main name.
Bill Clinton was never on the island.
He told you this?
Many times. He was never on the island.
He's on the flight log, though, isn't he?
Listen, he was on the planes.
But never went to the island.
Never. Epstein ain't worth
$107 million.
He ain't worth $17. But if you got a bunch of pictures with people pissing on you, nude, and orgies, now the real question is, would Epstein have ever really pulled the trigger?
Rob, you're not going to go any lower, are you?
No, that's...
Is that what I think it is?
He's got an elevator button, it looks like.
He's got an elevator button.
I'll tell you that guy on the left, I want to be him. That guy needs a fucking holster.
Honey, John Morgan's talking about your dangling, and he was actually very complimentary. No way, babe.
You're schlong.
You're schlong. I want to know what's going on with Disney. Are you suing Disney, or are they suing you?
Here's my goal with ads.
Okay.
Every ad I do, I want it to be so great that the viewer rewinds the TV to watch it again.
We watched this already a couple times today.
Right. Because when you first watch it, you're like, how the F did he get away with this?
Yeah.
Well, he's going to be sued. So that's what I want. I call it Purple Cow. So when the Steamboat Willie IP ran out, that would be a Purple Cow moment.
Commercial.
And guess what? They're the same people that fucked with my brother Tim when I was 19 years old. I came back. I didn't forget. I'm like Trump, retribution.
Did you ever think you would make it? I feel I'm so close I could taste sweet victory. I know this life meant for me.
Adam, what's your point? The future looks bright.
My
handshake is better than anything I ever saw. It's right here. You are a one-of-one?
My son's right about
I don't think I've ever said this before.
Something could happen, yeah. All right, so we're getting started. Today, guys, every once in a while you can use this word. We don't drop this word all the time. One, because you don't want to over-edify guests if they don't meet this criteria. When you say a legend, my guess is a legend. You know, and you can go anywhere. One moment I tell you, John Morgan, you've seen the ads. The man spent $350 million last year. He's planning on doing $500 million this year. And as you give him a billboard, he wants it. It doesn't matter what it's facing. He wants it. Even if it's in the middle of the ocean, he's going to find some fish and shark and dolphins that got into a fight that he thinks they can represent. Over 1,000 attorneys, over 3,000 employees, I believe, all over the place. Incredible at marketing and interesting on the political side. Obama supporter, Biden, Hillary Clinton, but then Trump. And then issues with Disney and lawsuits with Disney. Just you're all over the place. So we want to learn more about you, but it's great to have you on the podcast today, John.
Everywhere for everyone. That's my motto.
Everywhere for everyone. Okay. So I just met your son. I think you got 4 kids,
yes.
if I've seen it. I do as well. And before we get into all these stories, for someone to go from where you were at to now having this great success story that you have, maybe walk us through how the whole thing happened. How did you go from, wanting to become a lawyer to a law firm to where you have today?
Well, it started when I was a sophomore in college. I got a phone call from my dad. My brother Tim was a lifeguard at Disney World, been in an accident, was a quadriplegic, drove in, hit his head on a thing, and I got called. I went home, and that changed our lives forever. During that process of his injury and his problems, I got embroiled in the whole legal process. We were very poor people. Our mother had already left. Our dad kind of had a drinking problem. I was the oldest, so I was kind of the quarterback of it all. So I got very engaged in his injury.
How old were you at that time?
Sophomore in college, 19.
So you're 19 years old. You're not thinking about being a lawyer.
I'm thinking about being a lawyer because I suck in science and math. So,
okay.
That was out. Doctor was out. CPA was out. Scientist was out. Astronaut was out. So I was thinking about being a lawyer, but I didn't know what personal injury was.
Who were you in high school? Like if 10th
Winter
grade
Park High.
Well, who were you in high school?
I was in high school?
Were you the athlete? Were you the debate
I
guy?
was the treasurer of I did magic at Walt Disney World in high school. I was that guy. I was like Steve Martin. Yeah, I was a magician at Walt Disney World.
Entertaining, personality.
Yes. I was very popular in high school.
Okay.
I was at the cool table.
Makes sense.
And
So this event happens to your brother.
Happens to my brother.
He becomes a paraplegic
He's
because of the accident?
yes.
Quadriplegic?
And then it all begins, the process.
Got it.
And Disney was so rough on him and so tough on him. And so I got in that process. And the thing about that process, when you're on the other side of it and you're poor and you're helpless and you're hopeless and you're powerless, you can't imagine the frustration. And I became enraged. And as it all went down, I said to myself, I was going to be a lawyer, but now I know what I want to do. So when I went to law school, I knew what I was going to do. I knew I was going to come back and take care of the people like my brother Tim against the corporations like Disney and those type of people. So that's how it all started. That's how I got into personal injury, was my own brother's personal injury. And look, it all worked out for him. I mean, he became a super quad, so he was able to drive a car. He passed away a year and a half ago, unfortunately.
Sorry to hear.
When I met with the doctor, when he was being discharged, the doctor said he will not live to 30. And I said, you are effing wrong. I got up, I walked out. He lived till 65.
Wow.
But he also came and worked inside my business with me. So every day of my business life, my brother Tim, we ended the day talking about the day. And so it's his injury is the most devastating thing that ever happened to me because, I was trying to manage the medical, trying to manage the lawsuit. But later in life, he came to work with me, and him and his dog would come up every day to say goodbye, and it was a wonderful thing.
That's cool. And do you notice that as a pattern? You made it at the highest level business-wise. You're successful. You're a billionaire. You've done very well for yourself. And you have friends who are at that same level, who have made your kind of success. Do you notice a pattern with a dramatic, like especially not for millionaires, not for decamillionaires or hecto, but mainly billionaires? Do you notice a pattern with extreme amount of pain at a young age? What do you notice with the top 0.0001% of America, which is only 1,200, 1,300 billionaires in America? What do you notice a pattern with them?
Well, here's the pattern for people my age. I've got a new book I'm writing called Life is Luck, the Paper Boy. One pattern I understand is this, especially my age. I'll meet people my age and I'll say, were you a paper boy? And they'll say, yeah, why? I can tell. There's a genetic seed that goes in to the paper boy because the paper has to be delivered every day in the snow, in the sleet, in the cold. You have to get up and do it. Warren Buffett was a paper boy. Oprah Winfrey was a paper girl.
Wow.
Walt Disney was a paper boy. Have your viewers Google famous paper boys. So I think the one pattern is there's a genetic entrepreneurial seed. You have it. I could tell as soon as I walked in, I'm like, this guy, I don't know if you had papers, but I guarantee you something when you were 11, 12, 13, you were hustling something. I don't know what. Today, everybody's on YouTube and coding and all that. That's the new paper route. So that's the one thing. And then the next thing is what I wrote a book about called You Can't Teach Hungry. There is something inside of you when you're poor that I talked about, that helplessness, that powerlessness, that hopelessness that makes you hungry. And it can't be taught. You can't, like your guy that I met coming in, the comedian, you can't teach funny. There's certain things that cannot be taught. And that's the pattern I want. Usually there's an entrepreneurial bent. Mark Cuban, we're pen pals. We talk all the time. He was selling like trash bags door to door. His brother was a paper boy. And so those are the things that I notice most.
Hey, Rob, can you pull up the list you just pulled up, which was very interesting, guy? Benjamin Franklin, paperboy. Thomas Edison, paperboy. Eisenhower, Truman, MLK, Sarnoff, Joe DiMaggio was a paperboy. Walt Disney was a paperboy. Buffett, paperboy. Tom Cruise, Bob Hope, John Wayne. Who else you got there on the bottom? David Simmons. Very interesting on the paperboy.
It's unbelievable. How old are you?
I'm 47.
Okay, so you might be too young to have been a paper boy. I don't know. But I don't know what you did at 11, 12. Tell me.
In Germany, I used to go to the local swimming pool, refugee camp we lived in Erlangen. And the owner of that pool, guys would drink a lot of beer. And I was the one that would go there first thing in the morning, and I would collect all the beers at this. If you type in Erlangen massive swimming pool and you go to images, you'll see it. I saw it the other day. I'm maybe visiting Germany to go see this place. But I was always out there hustling, selling hats, selling baseball cards, collecting beer bottles in Erlangen to buy a Super Mario Brothers at Kaufhof. But there was a hustle in there, always.
Listen, you're born with the hustle.
Yeah.
You're born with that hustle. And it's not necessarily like Warren Buffett's dad was a congressman and a stockbroker. And so it's not necessarily, but there's that hustle that you can't teach. You're born with that hustle.
Okay, so let's go to the next question, because I'm at a Family Founders event at Goldman Sachs 3 weeks ago, and I'm at a Solomon Partners event last night in Miami Beach. Okay, both of them, they have Dallas had Ross Perot Jr. there, and the owners of the NASCAR family, as well as Emmett Smith and others, and they're talking about G2, G3, G4, and how do you pass the wealth on to the next. And then last night, they had the founder of 1-800-Flowers, the Perry Ellis family, and all these other guys that are in the room. Similar type of a conversation on how you pass it on. The guy that was running Perry Ellis is the son of the founder of Perry Ellis. So it's kind of like, you got 4 kids, and you're a G1. You made the money, and you made a lot of money. So how are you setting up the estate planning and the living trust and the expectation of which one of your kids comes into the business? If one does not, then how do you set it up with the grandkids? Then if they marry somebody else, like, oh my God, I'm marrying a Morgan, so I'm going to get the money. And how do you protect your sons from who they marry to make sure they're doing it for the right reasons? How do you process the entire legacy planning with your wealth?
All right, first, all my children are married. All my children have prenups. In my estate, it works like this. If you don't have a prenup, you don't take under the will.
Bingo.
So I become the bad guy. And every time I tell people this, I don't know how old your kids are, you will remember this, believe me. So you don't want your kid to have to be the bad guy. You're the bad guy. So my kids can say, hey, my dad's my dad. Now, if you don't want to sign it, we're not getting shit.
That's right.
And so that's the first thing. The prenups are fairly tough.
Okay.
Like, one lawyer said this is the most egregious document I've ever read.
Egregious.
I'm
sure you took it as a compliment.
I said by design.
By design.
By design.
Yeah.
And so, but listen, all of the daughter-in-laws, the son-in-law, I love these folks, but I'm not going to have a situation where somebody can come in and, my one son, Matt, said, because he was the first one, he's like, well, Daddy, maybe I put a clause in there that if I cheat on my wife, that is a null and void. I go, no, because we don't need to have any litigation. He goes, I'm not going to cheat. I said, I know you're not. His mother's
a good question to ask, though.
But he asked that question. I said, let's just get the document signed. So I did that years ago in 2008. I had when everything crashed.
Right.
I had everything appraised, and I gave the big gift to him where you could give up to like 24, 25 million. So I did that. I built a company called Litify, which was a software company. And what I did with that, I took Litify and I just put it all, I put 20%, each one of my children, 20% for me. We sold it to Bessemer at a $600 million valuation. We took 60%, but when we sold it, all my kids got the money.
God.
And then I used my 20% to toggle off and pay the taxes. So they took it tax-free. So I've done a lot of things. You got to do a lot of things de novo early on where there's no basis. And then the lucky thing for me is because my sons are lawyers, then they get to take shares inside this firm, and we build new cities. Like we're going to open in Chicago, so they get to come in there de novo. So my children make a lot of money inside the law, but I have been that question has been in my mind, even when I didn't have it.
Go one more. So what is then? What are you leaving to them to decide what to do with the grandkids? Because, you hear like the Vanderbilt story, the money only lasted one generation and it was gone, where Anderson Cooper's mom's like, I may be a Vanderbilt, but don't expect Vanderbilt money. It's gone, right? And then you hear some of the Medici family and the Rockefeller family, how they're able to bring it down to 6, 7 generations. How are you processing it for your G3, for your grandkids?
Okay. So the way I'm doing it is this. in our will, when we die, if our kids have $100 million, they get nothing. Because now remember, I'm transferring shares of the firm to them. So they're going to have that.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to get, if they have 100, they're going to get $100 million, they get nothing. We have an estate, a foundation that we hope to have, a $1 billion foundation, and all of my money is going into the foundation. And so, but some of my kids are already past the 100 million. I mean, some of them are already, they're done. And they're going to make a lot of money. My kids are 42, 40, 38, 36.
2 years apart.
2 years apart. I'm Catholic.
You only stopped at 4?
Well, let me tell you.
Traditionalists get like 6, 8, 9.
Let me tell you the problem. First of all, my wife's a devout Catholic. The rhythm method does not work, especially when you're drinking Jack Daniels on the weekend. So I mean, listen, man. Every time I had sex, I had a child. If I would piss on a rock, there'd be potatoes growing in the morning. So, I'm very potent. I had to finally get fixed because I never missed. But
that's respect.
That's respect. Yeah.
Major.
But I had a hot wife too.
There you go.
So,
that's good.
That helps. And but enough's enough. I mean, we're doing things for our grandchildren. We got the generational trust. A guy down here that we recommend, a guy named Andy Cometer, is our tax guy. And but when they were little, I want them to work. They always had to work. They never got to sit home. They never got a lot of people go to high school and they buy their kids Mercedes, and no, mine were driving 8-year-old Navigators, and they worked on the weekend, and you got to keep them hungry.
What are you going to do with your grandkids?
I'm not going to, I'll worry about it because the grandkids, the generation 3 is when it all goes to hell
That's
in a
what I'm
handbasket.
saying, yeah.
And what I worry about is that they have lived, we flew down today in our G500. My grandchildren, they don't, and that's what I worry about because they lead I live in Maui in the wintertime. Dan just got married in Maui. My grandkids get to lead our life. So I worry about that. But you know what I think about? I was like, you know what? I'll be dead. I'm going to let you guys worry about it. You all handle it. You all give me enough stress as it is.
Is one of the kids richer than the other kid? Is there situations where one's done better, and then how do you manage the competitiveness, the ego, the envy, or the jealousy, if there's any of that?
If there is, I don't know it. I know they're all different tiers in age because, Dan, who you just met, he got out later, and Mike started first. So there is that. But at the end of the day, they all do different things in the business, and some do better than the others. But some deserve more than the others. I mean,
but do you talk about it? Do you say
I don't really talk about it. I talk about this. I just say this about that. Comparison is the thief of joy. You've heard that. That's not my line. I'm stealing it. But I tell them, look, once you get a certain number, it's the same. I mean, a guy who's got $100 million is leading basically the same life as the guy that's got $1 billion, except for maybe a yacht, or some astronomical house. And so it's not. I don't worry about that. What I worried about when I was starting out was that they would never have to struggle after leading the life they lived with me. I didn't make $1 million until 1997.
28 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's the first year I made $1 million.
Stop it.
No, but let me tell you why. And this is a secret I'm going to give to everybody listening. Because I kept taking all of my profits and pouring it in to new cities. I was making a lot. I mean, I was making.
So you were paper rich, but you were not cash rich.
No.
Okay.
But look, all that pouring in, this year we'll do, $2.5 billion in fees. Once you catch up, the waterfall is so when I tell people I made $1 million, how? You were 41. I go, listen, because I was doing Jacksonville and Tampa and Atlanta, and some of them were tough. Some of them didn't make it. It took time. So I was really building. So now, we got 7,000 employees in all 50 states, and And I still got some cities that are still in the red. Like, New York City is still in the red. But when I look at what it's going to be, when I look at my inventory, when I look at LA, it's going to be bigger than the core. Although that 2.5 billion, the expansion is going to be bigger than the core, in my opinion. So, and the great thing about that's when you invest in those startups, you get to write off 40%. So if I put 20 million in a city, I only have to put in 12 because it's a loss. So what happens in these businesses, you come in, advertise, red advertising, then you kind of flatten out. You're not feeding the beast, and then all of a sudden you start getting your money back, and then you cross the Rubicon, I call it. When you cross the Rubicon, and that's because I burn the boats. When I go in, I'm burning the boats. That's the river. When you cross the Rubicon, you go from red to black, and then it's just like a hockey stick.
When was that? When was the moment for you where you're like, we're about to make a lot of money? And I'm talking exponential. I'm not talking millions. I'm talking we're about to fly.
Our private company is almost like a Fortune 100 company now. I mean, when you see, I don't want to talk about my net, but it was, the last 9 years just started, and when it came, it poured. Thank God. Thank God.
It's a great thing about business. By the way, Guy asked you a question. What's the difference, John, between what skill do I need to get to six figures? What skill do I need to get to $1 million, 10, 100, billion?
The skill you need to have is patience. Look, Warren Buffett, if you take away, Charlie Munger just died. I was reading a thing about him. If you take away 5 stocks from Warren Buffett, he's not Berkshire. But what Warren Buffett will teach you is it's patience. I was very patient building this thing. I was building my business. When you invest, you need to be patient. Index funds, tax-free bonds, be very patient. Instead of playing the short game, play the long game. Because once it starts happening, the power, I started banks in the 80s. And I was, 27 years old. I sold those banks. I turned into Center State Bank. We sold it to South State. I've never sold a share. But when we're building, when I did those banks, the power of compounding interest is people don't understand it. That's why these credit card companies, 1.5% a month.
That's
okay, right. That's 18%.
That's right.
That's a tsunami.
Yep.
So you got to understand that. But I would say patience. A lot of people want to be rich fast. And you look around and they're driving in a Lamborghini and they got a hot chick in the front seat and they got a big penthouse. And then all of a sudden one day it's all taped up. The Lamborghini was rented. The girl was rented. They had nothing. It was all an illusion.
Yep.
And so I didn't want to kid myself. I've never had one of those great offices. I used to tell people, look, I work in B buildings and I live in an A-plus home. I don't need.
I love that.
Yeah, I don't need. An office isn't. I could do it here. I could work here. In Maui, when I built my house in Maui and my guest house in Maui, I didn't even build an office. I just sat out back and watched the whales with the computer and my music going. And
what a tough
you
life.
don't need, you don't need all that TI and the big rent. No. So I've always been working B buildings, live in A-plus houses.
I love that.
But you got to be patient.
Sell me the dream. What are 2-3 possessions you have of like unique things that you collect, you own that makes you feel like you're 13, 14 years old? I own certain baseball cards. When I'm holding them in my hand, I'm back to being 14 years old. What do you have where you say this, letter, from this card or this painting or this car? What do you have that?
Well, one of my heroes in life is P.T. Barnum. And so one time I got a famous autograph from P.T. Barnum. I like that. I got that hanging at the wall at the beach.
That's cool.
I wish I had baseball cards. My dad moved, and I had these bags of baseball cards that I probably could have retired on. He threw them away.
Stop.
I had Mickey Mantles.
Oh, my God.
I had Mickey Mantles with the left back. I had Mickey Mantle. I had
The
stuff.
52 tops.
Oh, yes. I had them all. I had Rubber Band, the whole team, Philippe Alou, Matty Alou,
Old
Jesus,
school.
all of them. I had them all. When I watched that show, Collectibles on
Ken Golden.
I love that
We talked
show.
yesterday. He's a good guy.
Yeah,
Have you guys ever spoken?
No,
or
but I was fascinated by that guy. But I kept thinking, damn, my dad threw away. No telling what he threw away. I said, why? Why do you know? Oh, what are we gonna do with them? So, but the possessions I have, I don't have anything like that. I wish I had those baseball cards and go to see Ken Golden. For me, it's just pictures. It's just moments. This week, I took a picture. I had dinner 2 nights ago in Orlando with Bill Clinton, and
how's he doing?
Fantastic. He was on his way to Jamaica for the hurricane relief.
Does he still have the charm? Does he still have the?
Oh, listen, let me tell you, we went to the restaurant at 7:30. We left at 12:30. So there was nobody in there but us at the end. I brought Terry McAuliffe. He was with him, the old governor of Virginia.
Terry McAuliffe. Oh, wow. Okay.
And so I said, y'all want dessert? So they go, well, and all of a sudden we get some port and get some dessert, and we close the place.
Let me tell you a crazy story about Bill Clinton. He's the first president I shook hands. I was 15 years old. I was working at Haagen-Dazs at Glendale Galleria, and he came down. He was campaigning for something, and I put my hand out, and he shook me. I'm like, I just shook Bill Clinton's hand. Last year we're in New York. Rob, do you have this or no?
I'll find it.
Last year we're in New York. And I take my guys to a Yankees game. Well, it's a rain out. I'm like, you got to be kidding me. I'm trying to find out what date it is. If what's his name is watching, maybe text Vinny to see when we went to what's it called? When we went to New York. So game ends. Game is canceled because of rain. We said we go to this place to go. What do you call it? Bowling. So we go to this bowling alley, and I start talking to Vinny Antikrin. Vinny's a comedian guy that you spoke to out there.
I like him.
Yeah, he's phenomenal. Everybody loves him. And we're outside, and we're inside, and Tikran and Vinny say, if there's one person you would like to interview on the podcast that you would like to speak to, who would it be? I said 3 names. And the third name
John Morgan. Who are the other 2?
I said John Morgan.
Let's do 4.
Yeah, I said John Morgan. No, I said Putin was one of the names, but I said Bill Clinton.
Oh, yeah.
You ready for this? 5 seconds after I said Bill Clinton, Vinny, I'm looking at Vinny and Tikran this way. They look this way. They say, get the fuck out of here. I said, what do you mean? Look who just walked in.
Oh.
I look to my right. Bill Clinton just walked in.
Serendipity.
I walk to the side. The Secret Service says, hey, Patrick, I know who you are. Hang tight. Let him finish up the conversation. We want you to talk to him. So I go up to him. We had a good 15-minute conversation together. For 30 minutes, he just walked around talking to everybody. At this age, you've been around him. You've been around Biden. You've been around both of them. Does he seem stronger now, even stronger than Biden was the last couple of years?
It's funny you should say that, because once we got into the port at Chatham's, I said to him, look, you're Trump and Biden's age that they were.
Mm-hmm.
I said, let me ask you a question. He's got a tremor in his left hand. And I said, do you think you could be president now? He said, yes. He says, yes, I could do it.
He said that last night.
Wednesday night.
Wednesday night.
And he said, yes. And he said, now, I will tell you, I would have to pace myself a little bit differently. He goes, look, I put in hours. He goes, my staff used to say to me, I'm making less than minimum wage for the hours that I'm putting in as president. He says, I could put in, more than Reagan. But he said yes. He said yes, he believed. And let me tell you something. We sat there for, 5 hours? And we had to finally leave because the staff,
5-hour conversation.
Dinner.
And he was good. He was flowing.
Flowing. Funny, telling all the stories. And I'll tell you what he told me once years ago, and he's been so good to me. One time I asked him, we're headed to an event, I said, give me one piece of advice. Like you asked me a piece of advice. I said, give me one piece of advice. He said, okay, whether it's business or politics, this is going to go to your story. He said, every time you meet somebody, do this. Treat them like there's an election tomorrow and you're running and they're voting. Treat everybody like that. He says, I call that one at a time. So what you saw that day was Bill Clinton one at a time.
Got to give him respect for that.
Yes.
Now, what would you say about his wife, Hillary? The relationship with her versus the relationship with Bill.
My relationship with Hillary? Well, look, I mean, much closer to Bill.
Got it.
Much closer to Bill. But look, I've known him forever and ever. When he was president, I was at the White House all the time. I was at the best dinners. I was up in the, I had the time of my life. And during the pandemic, we were like pen pals and on the phone at night because everybody was holed up. He's been so good to me. And the interesting thing about it, my Republican friends, what they say? Now that's somebody I could still vote for, Bill Clinton. Republicans are good with Bill Clinton.
No, this is it, Rob. Good for you for finding it.
Vinny sent it to me.
Oh, press play? Yeah, this was
going to a bowling alley without my wife.
There you go.
Look at that thing.
It was a fish shirt with a
Yankees
blue blazer and the Ukraine
You
flag.
can pause it right there. He literally stayed like that, John.
That's one at a time.
Yeah.
That's what I just said.
Yeah. No, he's phenomenal in that area. I read a story one time about when he first ran for office, he had 20,000. Now, this is a second, third story to me, so it's not direct from him. He had 20,000 names that he had collected over the years. He sent cards to all of them saying he would like their support to run for office. And then, boom, he goes and beats Senior. Is he after Senior? Yeah, he beat Senior because Ross Perot, that's the Ross Perot pro. George Bush Senior, himself and Ross Perot. And
1992.
And that debate, the way he handled that debate with the lady, an African-American lady, asked the question, so how does the national debt how does it affect you? He crosses his arms and he listens to her and he goes into his message that he gives. The guy is very
And by the way, when he left office, that's the last time we had a balanced budget and a surplus.
Mm-hmm.
He used to say this when we would go to do speeches. He'd say, vote for a Democrat and live like a Republican. That's a Harry Truman quote. But he was.
What does that mean? What?
Well, his deal was this. Everybody thinks that prosperity comes through the Republican Party. Harry Truman's point was this. When you look at big hunks of America where prosperity was really pretty good, Bill Clinton's 8 years wasn't bad.
No, but Bill Clinton today wouldn't be today's Democrat.
No.
You know that.
No. When Hillary was running, I was like going crazy because I'm like, what are you doing? You got to fight this whole socialist movement. Mm-hmm. So I called Robbie Mook up. I said, Robbie, you got to hit back on socialism. And he said they're getting ready to do the caucuses in Iowa. He said, John, the Des Moines Register that has that 43% of all caucus goers identify themselves as socialist.
Wow.
And so I said, well, forget I called. But no, he would have trouble navigating inside of the Democratic Party today because
he'd be a Republican today.
Well, look, I'm not a Republican, but I'm not a Democrat anymore. When they put the Democratic Socialist at the end of Democratic, because I was a Democratic capitalist, and to me, socialism is the opposite of why we're great.
Why were you a Democrat? When you were a Democrat, why were you one?
I was a Democrat probably because I was a trial lawyer. Because, it was back in the day, Republicans just wanted. Now, look, when we do juries, when we pick juries, we want MAGA. We want MAGA jurors.
Why is that?
They're mad. They're angry. They're ready to punish the man. And it used to be, because now there's basically four parties. Yeah. And
accountability, like from a standpoint of accountability?
Yes. Because they're not. A lot of MAGA are not. They're not rhinos.
No, for sure they're not rhinos.
They're not
they can't
rhinos.
stand rhinos.
They can't stand rhinos. I don't know what are you?
I've voted for Trump twice, 3 times.
But are you full MAGA? Or are you?
No, I would say I'm a conservative capitalist.
That's me.
That's what I meant. But I also have some independent ideologies as well.
Yeah, like look, I'm pro-choice, but I'm not a socialist. I mean, I really believe there's a place in the middle for people like you. Look, in this state, I ran 2 constitutional amendments, 1 to legalize medical marijuana and 2 to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour. And everybody's like, you're not, because you had to get 60% of the vote. And everybody said, well, you're never going to get it. You know, you're a romantic. One guy told me, the guy that started Progressive. I lost the marijuana the first time, but then I came back and did it in a presidential year and passed it with 73%. Minimum wage was a harder lift for me because that's a harder issue. And I did it, I phased it over time, and everybody said, there is no chance in hell of this happening. And I passed that with 63% of the vote. Here's what those 2 ballot initiatives told me. Most of us agree on most things when you take the D and the R down. Just, you know, hey, legal marijuana. I mean,
True.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. So I think that, you know, what we really need in America, and I don't know if it'll ever happen, is we need a third party because nobody's compromising on either side.
Yeah.
The thing about a third party, if you had a third party, they could be kind of we'll go this way this time, we'll go that way this time. But, you know, this 2-party system is so tough in America.
You think if Trump ran as an independent, he could have won?
No. You need the apparatus. You need the RNC. Look, Trump.
So then, forgive me for interrupting.
No.
So then, what you're saying is, you have to choose one of the parties. If you ran as an independent, you won't be able to win because you have to choose one of the parties, is what you're saying.
I think so, unless you're a very special person, unless you're very unique. Like I believe Mark Cuban, not on a national level, but maybe in a state level. I believe, like, look, once upon a time, Jesse Ventura, the wrestler, became the governor of Minnesota. So it can happen, but you need, like, could Arnold Schwarzenegger done it as an independent? Maybe. That apparatus, when you know, look, remember when Mitt Romney said 47%, well, and screwed himself by saying that?
Yeah, the recording was leaked. The door was slightly open.
But the point is this. No matter who's running, 47-47. It's a jump ball. It's the 6% decide. I'd like to make that 6% bigger if I could.
I think it got bigger.
It got bigger.
In the last 5 years.
I asked Clinton one time, I said, do you think you would have won? He takes offense to this, by the way. Do you think you would have won if Ross Perot had not been in the election you talked about?
Well, what a question.
Oh, yeah.
Great question.
Oh, yeah. You know what he said? Yes, he would have still won.
Wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
What's his argument?
I forget because I wasn't buying it. I mean, Perot got like 18%.
He did. Yeah. And by the way, you know, in Senior's documentary that they did, Rob, what Seniors, is it called 41? There was a documentary about George Bush Sr. I think it's called 41. Is it called 41? Yeah, it's called Bush 41. Do you know, and try to find this, Rob, a question is asked at the end of the documentary about Ross Perot. Have you seen how he answers it? Oh, no. You have to see this now that you brought this up. If you can find the ending, just type in Bush 41.
Damn, you're encyclopedic, dude.
Well, no, I'm interested
good.
in this a lot. If you type in Bush 41 documentary, just type in documentary right there. If you see this, you see where's that in the documentary? Oh, man, I wish we could find it. So at the end of the documentary.
Text it to me, so I'll text it to Clinton in Jamaica.
Well, I'm going to text it to you right afterwards.
Yeah.
I'll find it. I'll text it to you.
Okay.
But when you see it, they ask him about Ross Perot at the end of the documentary. And Rob, maybe try to do it on ChatGPT or something and see if we'll find where it's at. They ask him, and he snaps at the report, at the person doing the documentary. He said, I don't want to talk about Ross. I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to talk about him. He was furious. They stopped the interview.
Wow.
It was the only time in the documentary that he got upset. Because to him, he believes he would have won if it wasn't for Ross being in there. Now, obviously, Bill disagrees. I'd love to see
I can't even remember how because he'll explain. When he answers, he then explains. So he did explain it to me. I forget exactly what he said, but I kind of tuned out once he said I would have won.
Who have you given the most to over the years? You've given to a lot of people, presidents. Who have you given? I think you were one of the bigger donors for Obama. So you got Obama, Clinton, Hillary, Biden.
Biden was on life support. And when he was, there was really, they couldn't even get anybody to go on the record for him. And so I helped Biden a great deal. And, they've all been to my house. They've all been to my house at a certain point. The politician I was closest to, the politician that I chummed around with was Teddy Kennedy. And that was my guy. We're just in my bedroom at my house, I call it the Teddy Kennedy suite because that's where he would stay. And when he'd come down here or down, up to Palm Beach, we were just bonded.
Why?
I just think we were these two Irishmen that clicked. We just clicked. And he'd call me and just shoot the breeze. My son worked for him one summer in D.C. And I called my son. I said, "How you doing?" He's fine. He was 18. I said, "Where are you?" In the office. I said, "Is Senator Kennedy there?" He says, "I think so." I go, "Mike, for God's sake, he's either there or he's not there. What kind of answer is that?" He goes, "Well, I can smell cigar smoke."
Got it.
I go, "Mike, you can't smoke cigars in a federal building." He said, "Daddy, who's going to tell Teddy Kennedy to put out the cigar?"
He was in 43. What was it now? 41 years? I don't know how long he was in there. He was in there for a minute.
When he had his final birthday party, at the Kennedy Center, I picked Bobby up at the airport. Bobby and I went and picked Ethel up, and he had me seated in the box right next to him.
Bobby Kennedy Jr.?
Yeah, he was in my firm before he went to the cabinet.
Oh,
RFK Jr., yeah.
See, he was in your firm. Environmental lawyer? What did he do for you?
He, big mass torts, gas spills, oil spills, the East Palestine train case.
How good of a lawyer was he when you had him?
Well, there's three types of lawyers. There's finders, minders, and grinders. Bobby's a finder. I do a town hall with Bobby Kennedy in East Palestine, which was interesting because that's Trump country. And this is before, we sent Bobby to do a town hall in East Palestine. We signed up all the cases. Bobby's a Pied Piper. Now, he's very, very smart, but and he's very good in trial. But you don't want Bobby doing the nitty-gritty, the discovery, because he tends to wander.
That's the grinder?
That's the grinder.
So you said finder, minder, grinder?
Yes.
What's the middle one?
The finder is the person who brings the minder oversees the grinders.
Like a project manager?
Yes.
Oh, okay, got it.
Yes.
So the grinder does the due diligence, the research, the calling, the finding out what's going on. What do you know about this? What do you know about that?
The minder oversees them.
What's the most important?
Well, there's no food without the hunt. You got to.
So the finder makes the most money.
Yeah.
Got it.
When Bobby, we had to do a lot of disclosures because like the last year he was with me, he made $10 million.
Bobby made $10 million with you last year.
His last year with me.
Great. What year was that?
It was right before.
Wow.
Don't hold me that exact number because
he made multi-9 figures.
It's in this when he got confirmed. It was I had to file, and he also had to, because he was owed money on other cases, but he had to not take that once he took this position. So,
really, you can't even take the payments for old work you did?
I just signed the document. I did what he.
What a weird law! I closed the deal. And there's more work coming in. I can't get paid for work that I did when I wasn't a public servant?
I agree. I said, Bobby, I reluctantly agree.
Listen, we will gladly follow.
We got to be ethical.
Honey, we saved $2.8 million.
Yeah,
He stays in the house.
We're going to have a big Christmas now. Bobby got confirmed, and I saved a lot of money.
That is so funny. So how about on the Republican side? Who were you close with on the Republican side?
Well, I'm close with everybody. Listen, Danny Perez from Miami, the speaker, having lunch with him Monday. I'm very close with Wilton Simpson, who was the president of the Florida Senate. Wilton's the agriculture commissioner now. I'm his personal lawyer. I did all the votes, the voting stuff for him when he was Senate president. I became close with Jeb later in life. I'm an investor in Jeb's fund, but I wasn't a Jeb guy when because Jeb was a big tort reformer back in the day. I'm very close with. I'm having a fundraiser in a couple of days for the incoming speaker, and who else am I? I mean, look, Pam Bondi was dated a guy in my firm. I mean, we partied like rock stars together.
With Pam Bondi.
Oh, hell yeah. Gasparilla, we can't even talk about it. We can't even talk about it. But we loved her, and was very good to my kids. And my daughter had a store, Violet Clover, and Pam would come over and buy stuff. She dated a guy in my firm named Billy Howard. They loved each other, but they were always in fight. Billy drank too much, and Pam would call me, Billy, you got to. I finally intervened. And Pam called me one night. and said, John, Billy was laying in the street in Ybor last night. The cops had to pull him in. I went over after Pam called me. I went over and intervened Billy, and I said, dude, look, because I drank too much myself. So it was like, I said, look, I know I shouldn't be the guy intervening. But you're going to effing kill yourself. And he says, what do you want me to do? And I said, I want you to go to an AA meeting 90 days, every day for 90 days. And I said, but I don't care if you do. I'm just telling you what I think you should do. Billy Howard he had one relapse. He went to Vegas once and fell off the one. So he had a little interruption.
One is not bad.
But he had to get a new chip.
Right.
But Pam Bondi's call to me saved Billy Howard's life.
Wow.
And I think to this day, she's got boyfriends and stuff, but I think to this day she loves Billy Howard. Pam, if you're watching, I mean it.
Is she married today?
She's got a boyfriend.
Oh, she's got a boyfriend, but she loves Billy Howard.
I think so.
Is Billy still with us?
Billy's still with us.
Okay.
And Billy's thriving.
Is he really?
And he's a baseball coach.
Okay, good.
Billy's thriving. And
good for Billy Howard.
And he's still, he told me that he was at Walgreens a few months ago and he ran into Pam over in Tampa. But look, back in the day when Pam was a state attorney, she's a tri-delt at the University of Florida, during those days, so she's hot. And but her and my children were all close. She was very close with my family, so I've known her, way back. As a matter of fact, when she was running for attorney general, I had a guy working in my firm who Charlie Crist picked as lieutenant governor, Jeff Kottkamp, and Jeff was saying some stuff about Pam that was not necessarily true. And Pam called me hysterical and was like, and I went publicly and said, no, this did not happen. And I had to refute Jeff, who was a Morgan & Morgan lawyer, but I said, no, that did not happen.
Did you call Jeff and tell him what he
doing?
doing?
I said, listen, he goes, he said something like, and I love Jeff. He's from Kentucky like me. We follow Kentucky basketball. You got the Kentucky blue on. But I said, Jeff, and he said something to me like, John, this is a blood sport. I go, well, I ain't fucking lying. And Pam called me from a hotel room in Jacksonville, Florida, and I stomped it out. And Jeff lost, and Pam became attorney general.
Wow. Well, I mean, Pam is one. I've met her once at the inauguration. Beautiful, and she's got a tough job right now. She's getting a lot of heat right now with the handling of Epstein and what happened with that. They had a victory yesterday. What was the thing that they got right yesterday, Rob? It's,
the pipe bomber.
The pipe bomber that came back. That it was.
Yeah, I saw her on the national news last night.
Yeah.
She was announcing with Cash Patel.
She was with Cash and a couple other guys that were there together. Did you ever do anything with Epstein? Did you ever run into Epstein or?
Hell no.
Okay.
But
she's dealing with that.
Listen, here's what we know. Trump's Commerce Secretary, I don't know if he went off script and said, he goes, look, Jeffrey Epstein is a blackmailer. What was his talent?
Really?
Video.
Right.
Video.
Right.
Leverage. That guy that owns the Limited and Victoria's Secret, what did Jeff Epstein bring to him?
Lex Wexner?
Yeah.
Gave him a 77,000 largest private residence in New York.
What Larry Summer.
54,000. I'm sorry. It's a $77 million property, I
But
believe.
Howard Lutnick said it, and he was right. Jeffrey Epstein was a blackmailer. And, no telling what he had on all these people. I think Bill Gates got divorced. I think Melinda Gates, I don't know this, so don't.
Well, she said it in the interview. I'm sure you've seen the interview.
I've seen it, so I don't want to be sued for slander.
Well, I know a good law firm if you're looking for it.
We know how to do slander. But Bill Gates, Bill Gates loves women. Bill Gates, you ready for this? You ready for a little fun fact? When Bill Gates married Melinda Gates in his prenup, we'll go back to the beginning, that he could go off for 1 week a year with his old girlfriend.
Stop it.
Yes. Google that, Vinny.
Stop.
Yes. Google that, Vinny.
Wow.
How would that go over at home with Mama?
Babe, if you're watching, babe, no, we didn't have that in our prenup.
Yeah, I can go off 1 week a year in perpetuity with my old girlfriend.
Why would she agree to that?
Money. Melinda Gates, when you read their story, she was acting like she met him in the parking lot and didn't know who he was. And she worked at Microsoft. I mean, no, I don't believe you, Melinda. I believe that you parked next to him on purpose. And she dated Bo Wrigley at Duke. I mean, there's people that are looking for money.
So you think she was a gold digger?
I think so.
Wow. Yeah, so is that the one that had an annual tradition with his ex-girlfriend, software entrepreneur Ann Winbland, to spend a long weekend together each spring at her beach cottage at the Outer Banks, a practice he maintained with his then wife. Wow, Melinda's agreement, which involved activities like dune buggy riding, walking on the beach, and discussing technology and life, a tradition that
I'd like to know what went on that dune buggy. I'd like to know what went on in that dune buggy. They're calling it dune buggy. I call it something. I call it buggery. I call it dune buggery. Look up. Put the word buggery up there put buggery up there on the screen.
Oh, wow.
Okay, well, maybe he's not lying. Maybe
I don't know.
He's not lying.
I don't know.
That
I'm
is-
just saying.
that is
I just report the facts.
The FLB shoes. By the way, I am officially on, let me see this. I'm on day 57 out of 58 that I've worn these shoes. Love wearing these shoes every single day. I think Vinny's got it on. The other night we went to dinner. Vinny was wearing this black pants, white shirt with the FLB shoes. We walk into the restaurant, 7 girls lined up waiting to meet with Vinny.
One girl was crying. She was crying. She was shaking.
She was crying.
like,
She was shaking.
The shoes. I was like, I can't.
Are you
So-
Ringo Starr?
So for those of you guys that are asking about getting the shoes before Christmas for your husband or your sons or your friend, this is what you want to be thinking about. Size black and brown. Size black and brown. Let me see this thing here from Langhorne. So let's go to some partners or what's available. So size black and brown. If you want to get them, size 9, 10, and 11 are available to get before Christmas. White, all sizes are available except for 7, 7.5, and 8.5. Navy, 8, 9, 9.5, 10, and 11 are available before Christmas. Of course, after Christmas, shipment is coming. That'll be here New Year's. These things, we can't even keep these on the shelves, to be honest with you, with the shoes. Once you put them on, just go read the reviews with people writing reviews when they bought them. Once you put them on, you'll realize why this has become as hot of an item for us as we expected it. Took us 2 years to do this, Rob. If you want to play the clip on that, we'll get into the stories. Here's the FLB shoes. Go for it. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast. We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. I love it. Designed in Florida, 100% made in Italy. Folks, if you haven't yet ordered one, we had 2 guys yesterday that ordered 4 of all colors. And one of them was from UK. The other one was from Belgium or something like that, ordering these shoes. If you want to find out how it matches against everybody else, go to vtmerch.com. On the homepage, you'll see the shoes. Click on the link to go learn more about the shoes and place an order for your husband, for your spouse, for your son, for somebody maybe that works for your company as a recognition. And go to vtmerch.com to place your order. So as you having these many lawyers, did any of them run into Epstein? Did any of them call and say, listen, I got this thing? Nothing. I came through your firm. Got it. Yeah, very interesting.
We just tried a case. No, we tried a case. We had a verdict against Google a couple of weeks ago in San Francisco. We got a $500 million verdict. But the lawyer we tried it with was David Boyce, and Boyce Schiller, he's representing the girl who just committed suicide. So Boyce has a lot of those cases, but I did not get any of the cases, and I never knew Jeffrey Epstein.
Got it.
And by the way, Bill Clinton was never on the island.
He told you this?
Many times. He was never on the island.
He's on the flight log, though, isn't he?
He's on. Listen, he was on the planes.
But never went to the island.
Never.
He is like the main name that gets dropped with the picture. So I will tell you one thing.
Yeah, he's the main name, but Trump's a main name too, and Trump says he was never on the island. So there's 2 main names that people want: Trump, Clinton, Trump, Clinton, Trump, Clinton, and that's what gets clicks.
Yeah, but there's a big difference, and I'll tell you what the big difference is.
Okay, here we go.
So I had Michael Wolff on. I don't know if you know who Michael Wolff is. You know who he is. Okay. So I had Michael Wolff on, and we're sitting there having a conversation together. We've talked on the phone many times. And I said, okay, so what was it like? He said, because he has 100 hours of recorded conversation with Epstein at his place at the property that Wexner gifted him. I said, okay. I said, is there a painting of President Clinton with a blue dress on?
Yeah.
I asked him that question. He says, yeah, there is. I said, really? Yeah. In Epstein's suite, yeah. There is. Yeah. Where? Right next to the bathroom. Why would there be a painting of the president with a dress on in his place? He said, I don't know. I said, I don't know. So,
well, you saw the painting. It's like it's a joke. I mean, he's in a dress and pearls.
That's the one right there.
But yeah, there he is. But look, what Epstein, he sold himself as an influencer, that he can connect you, and I know Clinton, and I know Trump, and I know the Prince, and I know Larry Sumner, and he did all this, and then he got some of them in his web, and I believe that Howard Lutnick, or whatever his damn name is correct. Right, yeah. Jeffrey Epstein, look, this guy was like a teacher.
Math teacher.
A math teacher in some bullshit school that he got fired in New York City.
Yeah.
I mean, this was no tax whiz.
You think he was part of the Mossad? You think he was like the
Mossad?
Yeah. Intel?
No. I just think he was a lone wolf that just got out there.
You think he sold Intel to CIA and to Mossad and others?
Well, I think anything's possible with that guy. But I don't even know how he made so much money, and how did he make the ask from Leslie Wexner? Because it wasn't just the house the guy gave him.
Did you ever do any kind of things with Leon Black?
No, but we won't hear from him much. I mean, his brother-in-law Tony Resler, who has his own company, I met him at Grant Hill's. He's his brother-in-law. I met Tony at Grant Hill's NBA Hall of Fame induction. But no, I've never done anything with Leon Black.
Well,
Tony Resler, the brother-in-law, and his son, Tony Resler's son's very good friends with my son Dan, who you met.
Got it. The guy with the nice sports coat that he has. He doesn't wear the royal.
The zoot suit, I call it.
Zoot. Yeah, so when you hear the stories about him, when he says he paid $170 million of consulting to Epstein, I've never heard of. I mean, have you've done tens of billions of dollars of engagements, right? Have you ever had a client pay you guys $170 million in legal fees?
Not voluntarily.
Not voluntarily. Okay, that's a different story.
I settled the Hawaiian fire case for $4 billion this year.
$4 billion.
So I've had some big fees, but no.
Wow.
Look, 170. Just think about that. 170. I mean, look. My mentor in life was a guy named Bill Demetrius, Lebanese guy, and he said something to me one time that people think, and he said to me, "Remember this, John. If money will solve a problem, solve the problem." So look, Epstein goes with this blackmail to whoever and says, yes or no. And then they say, if money will solve a problem, I got to solve this problem. Because I don't care what, Epstein ain't worth
$170 million.
He ain't worth $17. But if you got a bunch of pictures with people pissing on you, nude and orgies, you got billions and billions, and think of what he could have lost when he was paying it. What if he had let it out at that point in time?
Yeah.
Now the real question is, would Epstein have ever really pulled the trigger with his blackmail, if that's what it was?
Well, maybe Ghislaine has it somewhere, and she's got a dead man switch, and that's why she's safe.
Ghislaine has everything.
Yeah.
She has everything.
I wonder who has it, or what lawyer has it. How do you do that?
Well,
if she does have it, does she tell 3 lawyers that pays each a certain amount of money to keep, that if something ever happens to me, leak it? How do you do that if you have that kind of information?
Well, she's got 2 brothers that I guarantee if she's going to tell anybody, she's going to tell them. But look, she's in Texas now. She's got, better setup. I mean, look, if she was compelled and we shot her up with sodium pentothal, there'd be a lot of powerful people go down because she was there for everything. She was the madam. She was the madam. She was the recruiter. She had a deep crush on this guy, and she did everything. She is the deep throat of the Epstein saga. And nobody,
probably both meanings. I mean, if you like, the Watergate, you know what I'm saying? Possibly, because she seems talented. Yeah. You hear stuff. There's one of the documentaries you're watching about a girl that said, well, they went there to buy purses. They bought a bunch of stuff from her, and then they invited her back up to one of the penthouse places that they had. And so she says, yeah, I'll come back. She goes upstairs. Epstein comes back in a robe. They're sitting on a couch. Epstein and Ghislaine take their clothes off. They start making out. They start fooling around. And then they look at her and they get her involved. She's like, I didn't even know what the hell was going on. What they did, the stories you hear.
The thing I just read recently, which was kind of gross, is that his penis was the shape of a lemon.
What does that even look like? A penis shape of a lemon?
I don't like it. I don't want it.
What? Listen, shape of a lemon?
It was like small.
Oh, that's what they're saying?
Howard Stern said one time that his penis was so small it looked like an elevator button. But but I don't know if that's a lemon or not.
Who said the lemon? Because I saw it on New York Post. Who said he had the size of a lemon?
Everybody. The girls that were with him. The girls.
He had the size of a lemon penis.
Yeah, but small.
So what do you
might have been a kumquat.
So maybe when he was born, his parents didn't know if he was a boy or a girl yet. It took like about a year or something to find out. It's like, baby, maybe this is a girl we just had here. Rob, you're not going to go any lower, are you?
No, that's.
Is that what I think it is?
No, it's the New York Post. I just don't know what the photo is.
I'll tell you.
Okay, well, have them not show it and go a little bit lower. Oh, I see what you're doing.
He's got an elevator button. It looks like
he's got an elevator button.
I'll tell you, that guy on the left, I want to be him. That guy needs a fucking holster. God. If I was him, I'd have stripped the damn underwear off for that photo.
Rob, see who's the guy on the left?
Yeah,
Did they even say that? Let's give him some recognition.
God, he's going to get a lot of calls on this.
He's going to get a lot of calls. Honey, John Morgan's talking about your dangling, and he was actually very complimentary. No way, babe.
You're schlong.
You're schlong. What was your what's your relation? Because you've been complimentary of Trump a little bit lately. What's your relationship with him?
Zero. I met him a couple of times at Mar-a-Lago. I think he's a genius. The way he's been able to cobble this whole consortium that reelected him by a landslide, and people, he says he's a stable genius. He is a genius. That what he's been able to do with the Christian right, the Proud Boys, the Wall Street people. And look, what happened with Trump was America had gone so far left, it was going off the cliff. There was reverse discrimination. Mm-hmm. And I said this to people. They were like, what are you talking about? I said, this election, this is a race war. Mm. A lot of the MAGA people are like, and now I've got 2 class actions for reverse discrimination. Because what happened, they went so far to the left with DEI and, inappropriate comments and just so far to the left that it was a correction. Woke, defund the police. It's like they did everything they could to lose. Who says defund the police? What would be one thing you would not want? To 411
exactly.
or 911 to go away.
Yeah.
I'll take my trash to the dumpster myself before I give up 911.
That's right.
Right? But it's like, who are these people? Who are telling them to defund the police? So they went so far, and that had to be corrected. That there had to be a reset. Mm-hmm. Gavin Newsom was like, we're going to give everybody $350,000 in reparations, and Trump understood that the majority of America was not for that, and every time he would do something, everybody would be like, that's it. When he went after John McCain, they're like, okay, that's it.
Done.
He's done.
Yeah.
Stronger.
Comments about Mexicans, he's done. Comments about Muslims. So, yeah.
And you're like, he's the guy. He's everybody's got a crazy uncle at the dinner table that just says shit.
Yeah.
Like, I just make Vietnam a rice patty. He's the president now. And guess what? Here's the thing about it. Like Venezuela, they know not only is he'll do it and is doing it. Mm-hmm. So there had to be a reset in this country.
Do you feel confident with him as a president right now, both economically on running a business as well as America being safer?
Well, I feel like this. Look, and the records will reflect, I did not vote in the presidential election.
This year, 24.
Did not.
So you don't vote for Kamala?
No, hell no.
You're not a Kamala fan?
She hates me.
Called herself the greatest candidate they've had in a long time.
Guess what her slogan was?
What's that?
For the people. No, when he got out of the race, and I said, look, I'd already raised $800,000 for the reelect, and I said, can I have it back?
Can you ask for it back?
I did, just because I was pissed, and then I said, and I tweeted when it happened, because then Joe Biden said, okay, it's going to be Kamala, and I tweeted it. Joe Biden just said, fuck you to the Democratic Party.
Wow.
Because as soon as that happened, I knew the election was over. I knew it was over. I've been around her, very annoying. If you look at the debate up in Iowa the first time, it's almost like, is she on something? It's like, what is it? In the primary, when she first ran, she got 8% of the vote in California. And then they made her the nominee. Mm-hmm. So I'm a big anti-Kamala person. But I was so invested. I've been with Biden since forever and ever. I've been riding with Biden for a long time. And I really thought that he would be the bridge and that would be that. But as time has gone on, like Ronald Reagan said, I didn't leave the Republican Party left me. I understand why the socialism is on the rise, because affordability is an issue. And the one thing that people might disagree with me is I believe that the solution for affordability is a higher wage. And that's why I spent $10 or $15 million to raise the minimum wage in Florida. Think about this. The federal minimum wage is $8 an hour. How long?
Is it $7.20 or did they raise it to $8?
Whatever. I mean, it's
what is the federal minimum wage? I think it's $7.20.
I think it's $8, but I don't know.
You may be right. I mean, you would know better than I would.
know, 'cause
Oh, okay. It's $7.25.
I said, listen, dude, I said you were encyclopedic. I didn't realize baseball, minimum wage, lemon dicks. You know, you whatever.
Well, I'm a Renaissance man.
A boheme, you know.
Yeah, that last one threw me off, but all the other ones I would take.
But yeah, so that's the issue of the day, and it applies
affordability, minimum wage.
That's what we need. And look,
how do you fix it though? So you raise. So what do you do? Even if we take the federal minimum wage to $15 an hour, raise it to $15 an hour, who takes a hit? We don't take a hit. People in Arkansas take a hit. People in Kansas take a hit. You know, rural areas.
Why would they take a hit?
I mean, those small business owners.
Oh, the small business owners.
The small business owner where the cost of living is, where houses sell for $140,000 or $180,000. They raise the minimum wage. That guy's like.
Well, look, what should happen, and you're absolutely correct. Do you know Jose Oliva?
Mm-mm.
He was a speaker in Florida.
Mm-mm.
When I was going to do the minimum wage, he came to me. He said, "John, don't do it." And he's got a cigar company down in Miami, and Jose said, "Don't do it." He was very much against it, and I said, "Jose, I don't want to do it as a constitutional amendment. I would rather you all do it where we could tailor it to the state, where we because there's one single subject, it's very limited what you can do. Like I would have preferred to have a deal where, you know, people 18 and under didn't have to fall into it. People younger, you know. So what should really happen is state by state by state, they should come in. Because look, when I hire people to work in New York, I mean, I got offices on Wall Street. A one bedroom studio is $4,000 a month.
Mm-hmm.
That's different. I just filmed a commercial with John Daly in Arkansas a few weeks ago.
Fun.
Oh my God!
I bet you guys had a lot of fun. I'd love to see what you guys did off camera.
Oh well, here's how it ends. So we're there all day with him. He's got a seltzer all day. I mean, he's just slamming them, smoking the cigarettes. We did there we are. So, but here's the great part about John Daly. So we finished the shoot. We're there all day, and my son Matt was with me. He had to run back into this. It's John Daly's home course. It's just a shithole in Arkansas. I told Clinton about it. He goes, "I got a lot of relatives in wherever I was." We couldn't even fly in because the runway was too small. But John Daly, when the shoot was over, Matt went back in the clubhouse, which was kind of like, you know, a bathhouse. It's just a, you know, like that pool you used to sell water in. But Matt comes out and he says, "Daddy," he said, "you're not going to believe it," because John Daly's in the new Adam Sandler film, Happy Gilmore. He gets back in the van for us to go to the plane. He goes, "Daddy, you're not going to believe it." I go, "What?" He goes, "I just went in to get my jacket." I go, "Yeah." He goes, "John Daly is sitting on a couch by himself with a bowl of potato chips, watching Happy Gilmore 2 and laughing his ass off at himself." And
I can totally visualize that.
He was exactly.
I can see him doing that.
Oh, exactly. And are you ready for this? He's got a house there. That's his, but he sleeps in the trailer out in front of the house. He doesn't even go in the house to sleep.
How entertaining is he?
Incredible, all day long. And the ad ends like this. We're calling the ad the big hitters, and the ad ends like, you're going to like this. The ad ends like this. It's me and my boy. All my boys were out there with me, and so it's his son. So John Daly hits a final shot, he just crushes it, and he goes 4, and I look and I go, "The people," and that's how the ad.
I like that.
That's how the ad ends.
I like that a lot. Yeah, and by the way, what happened with you and the Willie what is it? The Sweetboat Willie? What am I saying it correctly or no? Steve, can you pull up the Steamboat Willie commercial?
Yeah, show
I want to know what's going on with Disney. Are you suing Disney? Or are they suing you? Play the clip first.
I'll show it.
Go for it, Rob.
I'll tell you what I did.
This Morgan video was not approved, authorized, or endorsed by Disney.
That is so funny.
This Morgan video was not approved, authorized,
So
or
here's
endorsed
what
by
I
Disney.
want. Here's my goal with ads.
Okay.
Every ad I do, I want it to be so great that the viewer rewinds the TV to watch it again.
We watched this already a couple times
Right.
today.
Because when you first watch it, you're like, well, he's going to be sued. How the F did he get away with this?
Yeah.
So that's what I want. I call it purple cow. I want to have a commercial that's not a brown cow, that's a purple cow, makes you stop. Like your guy out there showing
Great
me
book.
pictures of him doing animal
Vinny?
voices. Yeah, him as a reindeer.
Yeah.
So when the Steamboat Willie IP ran out, so you can only have it for 50 years. And then I started thinking about Steamboat Willie. That would be a purple cow moment.
Commercial. Yeah.
So I was getting advice from all these IP people like, well, they can still sue you. You got to make sure you make a disclaimer that, and then they were telling me that I had to go spend like $75,000 and have a poll, have people tell me whether they thought that was approved by Disney. It was like they were just going around and around. I went around and around with these different law firms. I finally said, look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to sue Disney. So I filed for a deck action in federal court to say, look, Disney doesn't have the rights to this anymore. The IP has expired. And after a few months, Disney agreed that I could run this commercial.
So you won.
I won.
Not settle, you won.
It's running. And guess what? They're the same people that fucked with my brother Tim when I was 19 years old.
Wow.
I came back. I didn't forget. I'm like Trump, retribution.
When is your birthday?
3/31. I'll be
It's 3/31.
Aries.
Yeah, Aries, solid. I respect Aries a lot. My dad's April 10th. I get along with all Aries. They're very reliable, dependable, and they will never forget.
Loyal.
Yeah, very. But my dad is also a vengeance guy. He's also about retribution.
And I'm also Irish, so we hold grudges.
There you go. Well, we're Middle Eastern.
No.
All we got is grudges.
You win.
All we got is
You win.
So, DeSantis, tell me, any plans of you running? Do you have any desire to run governor? Like, you've said stuff before just to kind of, I don't know if you're flirting or if you actually wanted to run.
Here's how I'm thinking about it. I've thought about it. I like it. I like the idea because I think I could do some good. I believe that I'm not a DeSantis fan. He's not a John Morgan fan. He's going.
Why not? What do you not like about what he's done? I think he's done a great job.
Tort reform. What he did in property, I'm going to tell you, and nobody's going to understand until it happens. There's going to be a hurricane. Here's how it used to work.
You said that about Jeb Bush as well, right? About 30 minutes ago.
He was a tort reformer in the beginning.
So tell me about tort reform. Maybe.
Well,
I've only been here for 4 or 5 years.
The insurance industry wants to collect money and never pay out. In Florida, the way it was before is if the insurance company, if there was a hurricane and your house got blown up, and you sue, and the insurance company denies the claim or trying to lowball you, we would sue the insurance company. We'd go to trial, and we would win or we would lose, and we probably won 99% of the time. The new law that DeSantis brought in was now the new law is you don't get fees, you don't get anything. If you sue the insurance company and win, all you get is the amount. So let's say that you need $100,000 to fix your house. So you get awarded $100,000, but the lawyers got to take a piece of the $100,000 now, and you can't fix your house. So we will rewind this tape one day when there's a massive hurricane, because it hasn't happened yet. It hasn't happened yet. But what's going to happen is there's going to be a massive hurricane. The insurance companies, look, They are not the agents. They're great. They're the guys slapping the backs. The people, the bean counters, they're there to screw the other side. So I got into it with him over the tort reform for property damage, and I think it's disastrous. And I think that one day, look, our single greatest asset for most of us is our home. Our number one payment every month is your mortgage. And what I don't like about what happened, and look, nobody's going to know about it. It's like if there was something about Med-Mal, you're not worried about Med-Mal, right? Listen here. They tried to pass a bill called free kill in Florida, the only state in the country. If a doctor kills somebody and that person that they kill don't have a spouse and have adult children 25 or older, no right to sue. You can't sue. So the only state in the only state.
Can you look that up?
Yeah, look. Listen,
what is it called? It's
free kill.
Type in free, not freak kill. Free kill.
Freak kill would be Epstein.
That's what he did.
Oh, is that what he said?
About that freak kill.
Yeah, Epstein's picture popped up.
So Florida's free kill law provides wrongful death that prevents parents of an adult child 25 or older and children from suing for damages in case of medical negligence that lead to death. It specifically denies the right to what?
The only state in the country. Now,
what's the argument for it?
There's none. Insurance donations for presidential runs in new and next. So think about
who does this protect the most?
The insurance industry and the doctor. Look, here's the deal. It's the only state. Now, here's something that's more outrageous. The Florida House and the Florida Senate, all the Republicans, they voted to overturn this. DeSantis vetoed it. Why?
Why?
Campaign contributions.
From who?
The insurance industry.
But who specifically? Who?
You name it. I mean,
he's not friendly with the insurance companies, though.
Oh, look at his campaign contributions.
Can you look up how much money DeSantis got from insurance companies for campaigns? Campaign donations.
And doctors, because like all of a sudden it's called free kill for a reason. The doctors, if the doctor has no liability.
According to one at least investigative, DeSantis' affiliate political committee has taken $3.9 million contribution from insurance industry players. Got it. If one include donations from some on January 20, in total from insurance industry.
And look, and by the way,
$9.9 million. Two property casualty insurance firms donated a combined of $125,000.
And we don't even know about dark money. We don't know about PACs. We don't know what we don't know.
Well, I think, to me, let's put these two, and I want to come to another question with you on DeSantis. These two are issues that you may disagree with that he's done, and free kill to me throws me off a little bit.
Well, by the way, it threw everybody off in the Florida House.
When did that pass?
This year. He vetoed it. And then they had it veto proof, but he got to the Senate president who let it roll in his, politics. The only state in the union.
That is very weird to have that.
It's very bad.
Yeah. And so what do you think about what he's doing with...
and by the way, on that property stuff, I was saying, look, here's what you should do. Get rid of the AOB's assignment of benefits. Don't let the public adjusters go out and solicit. I mean, I had a lot of fixes. No, because there was a guy who's going to be the president of the Senate one day, Tom Leak, who works for Charlie Lidecker. You know what Charlie Lidecker? Insurance. Look up what Tom Leak's net worth is.
Leak.
Leek. When he took office and what it is now. He was the ringleader of this. Leek. And now he's a senator and he's going to be president of the Senate. Look at his net worth since he went to work for Charlie Lidecker.
Do you see it, Rob, or no?
I'm looking.
Yeah, because I see it on a different article. So just under $1 million, and then it went to over $14 million. I see the article.
Yeah.
I see the article. So he 1,400%.
And he's not done. He's now in the Senate.
Interesting. Okay. So for you now, are you? By the way, same thing's happening with me as well on that site. I think it's a virus site, so be careful with that site. Yeah. So, what do you think about what he just said recently about wanting to get rid of property taxes, and whether it's homestead, focusing mainly on homestead and trying to find a way to pass the tax on tourism and people that are coming in here. How do you feel about him wanting to get rid of taxes for homeowners who are homestead?
Look, I'd also like him to give us $5,000 a month as a stipend too. It's a gimmick. It's a gimmick. Of course I would like it. Who wouldn't? You know what the best word in America is for marketing? Free. You know what the second best word in America is? Money. You know what the two best words together are in America? Free money. He's selling free money. Who can be against it? Listen, my property tax, I got a bunch of houses in Florida and Hawaii and New Hampshire. My property taxes, nobody wants property taxes gone more than me. And if there's a way to do it, I'll take the free money. I think it's a gimmick.
But what's he campaigning for? Well, what's the purpose? He can't do it another term.
He's trying to get his lieutenant governor propped up to run for governor. Have you seen the ads they're running for that guy? That's what it's about.
For a minute, everybody was thinking it was going to be Casey.
Well, I hope Florida derailed her a little bit.
Right. So, what do you think about Byron Donalds?
I know him, and I don't have any. I know this. I hear from my people that DeSantis cannot stand him.
That's what I hear as well.
So, so you got that too. A lot of people, when you're a governor for 8 years, you don't want somebody you don't like. Look, when Rick Scott, when Rick Scott lost or left, he left town because Charlie Crist was the governor, and then when Charlie was no longer governor, he came to work at Morgan & Morgan. I don't know if you knew that.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, but Rick Scott just left town. So I don't think that DeSantis can stomach the idea of Byron Donalds coming in.
Doesn't sound like you mind that.
I'm okay. Listen, but the guy that I like the most is Wilton Simpson, the ag commissioner. He and I started a bank together over in Pasco.
Wilton Simpson?
Yeah.
What's special about him?
I believe that he cares about people. I believe he's a fiscal conservative, but I believe he's a compassionate conservative.
And he's a Republican, apparently.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm his personal lawyer.
Wow. And you'd like to see him go?
I wouldn't be upset.
But you have no desire yourself?
The only reason I haven't, look, when you do those campaigns, all the people on the Republican, like when I went to the White House last night, they wouldn't sequester me in a room and they look at this polling, this is what you could do. I'm kind of a wild card because I've been able to be a wild card because I'm never running for it, so I kind of say what I think. There's things I would like to do that I think I'd be, I think I'd be way more for the people than what this has been. But the problem is I'd hate to sit into, Florida Highway Patrol budget meetings. I mean,
I can't see you doing that.
No.
There's finders, there's minders, there's grinders.
I've heard that.
Have you heard that before? I love it. So minders
I'm gonna steal that.
I'm
gonna steal that, man.
You know what I call it? I call it generator, closer, builder. There's sales guys that know how to prospect. There's those who know how to close, and there's those who know how to build great relationship to get more referrals.
You sound like an insurance guy to me.
I sound like a sales guy. I've been a sales guy my entire life. That's what I know how to do.
Sell the sizzle, not the steak.
That's right. So would you consider yourself more a lawyer, a businessman, or a sales guy, marketing guy? Which one do you rank those? Businessman, lawyer, marketer?
Business.
Number one is business. What's two?
Marketing.
And then last is lawyer.
I play a lawyer on TV. but
That's cool.
But I like the marketing aspect. Look, but I'm in listen, I owned a billboard company. I built shopping centers. I have Marriott hotels. So I'm a guy. Here's the thing about me. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't understand going out and catch and release and ripping of fishes. I don't, but my son fishes all the time. And I don't really golf. So those three things are big business, big waste of time to me. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't play golf. I hunt and fish money. And so I got a lot of free time. So like when I started building my attractions, I built these attractions, these upside down houses all over America. It's like, hey, I got some time. I'm not, it's called WonderWorks. I'm not hunting. I'm not fishing. I'm not golfing. I'm going to go build this business. And that's my recreation.
I've seen these. This is you?
Those are me.
I've seen these all over the place.
Yeah. And then I got another one called Alcatraz East. Hey, I have a place I built called Alcatraz East, the history of crime and punishment. The grand finale is Ted Bundy's VW, Bonnie and Clyde death car. There's John Dillinger's sedan up there on the left. And if you keep going, I got OJ's Bronco in there.
The Bronco.
There it is, down there.
This
is
what I asked you when I said, "What do you have that are unique stuff?"
Listen,
is
you know what I just bought? I just bought the Murdoch's the golf cart from Murdoch, and I got John Bonet's bicycle. This place prints money. America's fascinated with crime and punishment. Fascinated. Movies, TV, CSI. Look at it all. So I go, what if? And one day I go to Alcatraz in San Francisco, and there's no tickets. I said, why? 2 weeks out. I go, 2 weeks out. I pull out a couple $100 bills. I said, are you sure? No, come on. So $100 will solve any problem in America usually. And
you ain't lying.
Yeah. If you go to a strip club with a $100 bill on your head, you'll see that. But so I go, so again, through Alcatraz East, I was fascinated with it. I keep thinking about it. What if there was an attraction that was the history of crime and punishment? And so I came back and I started working on it, and then I built it.
Where is this at? Is this in Orlando or
Pigeon
where?
Forge, Tennessee. I got a WonderWorks. Here's what I got in Pigeon Forge. I got Alcatraz East. I got WonderWorks, and then I got another. My latest concept there is called Downtown Flavor Town with Guy Fieri. Just think about this. Guy Fieri meets Dave & Buster's. So I've got this huge... The guy. He just had a big accident.
How's he doing?
It's a bad injury. I told him, I said, you may need me. But so it's an arcade with his food, and it's right behind my Alcatraz East.
I hear he is like the biggest personality, larger than life, and
he calls California. He bought a place down in Palm Beach. I said, "Why are you moving there?" He said, "I got to get the hell out of California." He called it
California.
He called it California.
Yeah.
So he bought a place south of in Palm Beach.
No, he's a character.
Oh,
he's a character.
He is a big personality.
But by the way, when you said Biden, I remember one time I was looking at this house in Harbor Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and the house was on the market for $99 million or $98 million. And I go inside the house. I think the house just sold for like $67 million. It just closed for $67 million. And it was in Harbor Beach, beautiful home. The guy bought 5 lots, turned it into his house. And yeah, that's the one, $70 million. That's the one that sold for, I think that's the one that's exactly the one. So $67 million is what it, $70 million that it sold.
Okay.
And it was, they're showing me all the rooms, beautiful place, out of control, just gorgeous. And I go into the master bedroom, I'm like, oh, it's nice. It's an American flag. Big American flag. Well, it was the American flag from inauguration when Joe Biden won.
Oh.
And it was the one that was given to him. And it was a guy, I believe, Sussman. Am I saying it correctly?
Yeah, I know him.
Yeah. He was a big donor to Biden as well.
Got a place in Portugal.
He does have a place in Portugal. What made Biden so appealing for you to get behind him?
For me?
Yeah.
Because, look, Joe Biden was a guy who went home every night on a train to his family. Everybody else is leading a double life in D.C. I liked his character. I liked the way that he loved his family. Joe Biden, to me, was kind of a Clinton. Listen, Joe Biden was friends. I mean, he got in trouble for talking about, being friends with some Republicans. I mean, just for that. He was kind of in the middle. What made him appealing to me was I thought he had a compassionate heart. He was a centrist. but his character. When we first talked about running for president, I was talking to him, and I said, where are you? So I'm looking at the Potomac, and we started talking about Bo, and he started crying. It was, real crying. And I felt that pain, and I heard his pain. And I thought to myself, this is a guy that could feel America's pain. That's who I want. I want somebody who's going to feel our pain, not the richest people's pain. Because when you grow up like I did, you were never, you were the guy that was desperate. And I want somebody that's going to be for me. I want to do the most for the most with the least, but within the confines of a capitalistic government.
How do you think he did as a president? Because a lot of times, they'll say Jimmy Carter was a good man, but a horrible president, right? You'll hear that sometimes being dropped as he was not one of the better presidents we had the last 60 years, 70 years.
Well, what he did was, what happened is this: his staff took over.
Biden's staff. Yeah.
The donors. Look, they asked me recently, how do you think he's going to do on his presidential library? You know, my answer was, he'll be lucky to build a fucking bookmobile. I mean, there ain't going to be no library of any consequence. Why? Because I was getting ready to say something I'm not going to say, but his staff would not call big people back. Chris Dodd was Biden's best friend. He couldn't get him on the phone.
Who protected that, though? Was it his chief of staff? Like, was he?
Well,
was
it was
Susie
Anita
Wiles?
Dunn. It was not. Yeah, it was his chief of staff. It was Ron Klain who insisted on Kamala. It was Steve Ricchetti. It was Anita Dunn, who was moving in and out of politics and going to SD Knickerbocker. And the reason he's not going to be able to is the reason it's a tragedy is, and then he had that blind spot for Hunter. He had that blind spot for Hunter, which, because look, me and him are Irish. We have this thing about our children, but look, Hunter is just a despicable character.
His son,
Hunter Biden.
Yeah,
I think so. But his deep love for Hunter Biden, I shouldn't say despicable. He's an addict. He's the Skid Row addict. I mean, if his dad wasn't president, he'd be a Bowery guy. Things that they were doing that were pissing me off when he started selling paintings for $500,000. I mean, that guy couldn't draw a damn stick man. And people are paying $500,000 for his paintings. It went off the rails. My hope was that he was going to bring the country back to center at the end of the 2 years, say, go get it. And so I'm disappointed in that. And I think his presidency, one thing that's going to be overlooked in his presidency is the infrastructure bill, which everybody's got a lot of opinions on the infrastructure bill, but America's infrastructure is breaking down. And I thought that was a positive thing, and I thought that would be his signature piece, that we'd start getting Wi-Fi in the rural areas, we start putting bridges back, and I believe that Trump's going to benefit from the lift from the infrastructure, because there's a lot, that money is still going into there. Now, what else did he do? Very little. But his staff took charge, and they protected him. And
do you believe he signed all those? Do you think he approved all those pardons, or you think his staff signed all the?
I think he approved them.
You think he approved all of them?
Listen, I know listen, I have a cousin, okay, Jerry Lundergan, who went to prison, and his daughter ran against Mitch McConnell, and Clinton went down and met with Biden to try to get a pardon for Jerry, and Jerry's a big donor. They didn't give Jerry a pardon. Biden was involved in the pardons. Now, all this auto pen, I sign auto pen every day with documents. I mean, what the fuck are we talking? I mean, I don't know.
No, I do as well. As an insurance guy, we've written 1 million insurance policies. So, for us, there's going to be so many things. It's like boom, boom, boom. But and I'm not talking to policies. I'm talking about, hey, cutting the check for this, cutting approval for this. Yeah,
But
I approve.
do I think?
But I'm talking about,
do I think the real question is, did a staff member pardon and just slide it in front of him?
No. What I'm saying to you is the following. Obviously, he was not fully there. I mean, I watched the first debate, Jake Tapper. Within the first 30 seconds, I'm like, Jake knows what's going on, and Jake Tapper knows that they're
Are
about
you talking about the one where
you'll see where I'm going with this. I knew he was not in good shape when I saw it. And the world did as well. It's not like I'm doing anything special. Everybody saw it. But to me, for me to believe that all of those pardons he did, I have a hard time believing that. And neither do a lot of Americans, by the way.
And listen, with that staff, I will say that. And I will say the same thing about what you said. Look, I went to the White House. I saw him. I saw the State of the Union. I was like, okay, this guy's okay. Maybe he's okay. That night, I went to the beach. I made myself a big Maker's Mark, crushed ice, Scotsman ice.
Good for you.
Little splash of Coke, emphasis on splash. I got me a big Orville Redenbacher drizzle with butter. I'm like, I'm sitting down for this. And within whatever, he was looking off camera. He looked like a corpse. I texted Pelosi that right there, 10 minutes in, and I texted Nancy Pelosi and I said, the election is over. The election is over. And it was. And I asked later, I asked some people, I said, did he ever go there for a dry run? Did he ever go and check the lights? Who did his makeup? I mean, if you remember, he was looking over. He wasn't looking. And you know what the answer was? The first time he stood at that podium was when they wheeled his ass out on stage. And then when the wife came up and said, you did it, Joe. We're all like, yeah, you fucking shit the bed, Joe. That's what you did. And, I'm close with his brother Frank. His brother Frank, I helped Frank get his prostate taken out up in Orlando last year. But his legacy was ruined by his staff. And look, who knows you the best? I own nursing homes in Florida. I got memory centers. When you try to get the keys away from somebody, it's hard to get the keys away because are they or aren't they? Are they there or not they there? What George Clooney saw, another Kentucky guy, I'm better looking than him, we're both from Kentucky. But George Clooney saw it. Now, we had never seen it because he was being guarded. And I think what happened is the sycophants around him didn't want to give up the power and the money. And that's why that's why Kamala got shellacked.
Yeah. It's this property, by the way, the property I bought, this 11 acres on the airport. I think the previous owner was business partners with Biden's brother. I think he got in trouble with
Jim.
I don't know whichever one that got in trouble is.
Well, Jim's in insurance.
Oh, then that's the one. Jim got in trouble
Jim's in insurance
with the previous owner of this place. And I talked to the DOJ, I talked to the FBI. Took me 3.5 years to be able to buy this property. I've been looking at this property for 3.5 years.
When I landed here, I'm like, the guy says, we're going to be there in 3 minutes. I said, we just landed. All of a sudden, I'm in a car. The gates are pulling up. There's two big guys, and they want to talk to you. I'm looking out the window. I said, what do you want to talk to me? Who are you? I said, I'm here for this. I mean, this is a compound.
Yeah, it is. That's why we wanted this.
I mean, that's like, is the Mossad running this place?
Well,
that's what I told. You know what I said to Dan? You know what I said to my son? You know what I said to Dan? I said, I feel like the Mossad. I said, I feel like the fucking Mossad is here. I mean, I said, and how are we here already? We just got off the plane.
That joke alone, you don't even know what that joke's going to do to a crew here cracking up, because this was a DOD CIA property.
Oh.
Iran-Contra, the whole weapons was done from this exact 11 acres.
I smelled it, didn't I?
Yeah,
I smelled it.
Good for you.
I said it.
Good for you.
I said, Dan, I said, I feel like the Mossad is running security here.
That is hilarious. That last question before we wrap up.
But we left. I mean, we were in the car for 3 minutes and we're pulling in.
That's what I love, though.
I see the Hard Rock Stadium. Like, okay, well, how long away is 3 minutes? All of a sudden, we're coming through.
Yeah.
I thought we were still on the tarmac.
Right, that's what I love about it. Tony Robbins comes here on the podcast. He lands on a helicopter, walks in, finish the podcast, get back on a helicopter, goes back home. That's why we love this whole concept of what we have.
You know what they call that in real estate?
What's that?
Location, location,
That's
location.
Right. That's right. And I love it. Absolutely love it. Last question.
Okay.
Your wife, very involved with by the way, is this the Ross Perot? You found it?
I did.
Okay, watch this. He found the clip. Good for you, Rob. Let's just play that before I ask this last question.
I'm going to offer Rob 3 times he's making here. I'm bringing this son of a bitch
Hey,
back. I mean,
stay away from our team, John.
Whatever you're paying him, it's not enough. Rob, let me handle your next contract. Your money.
So, Rob, just so you know, you have John Morgan. You have a Teamster Union boss. You have all these people that want to negotiate on your behalf. Go ahead. Show this clip.
Thank you, the United States of America. We are going to win this election.
Can you describe the year 1992 and what that year means to you?
A defeat to losing to Bill Clinton. Clinton did a great job of campaigning on that I didn't get it, I was out of touch and all of that. I don't want to sound like I'm bashing the press, but there was almost unanimity in the press corps that I should lose and that they were for him, and that makes a huge difference.
Can you talk a little bit about Ross Perot?
No, can't talk about him.
Notice
He
that?
cost me the election, and I don't like him. Other than that, I have nothing to say.
And that's harsh for George Bush because he's a kind man.
I've never, ever, I watched this thing 15 years, whenever it came out, and I remember he was not willing to talk anything about Ross Perot. So,
Still stung.
yeah, for sure. And by the way, I'm sure Bill has seen this.
Oh,
I'm sure he's seen it.
everything.
Yeah, I'm sure he's, because those two families, they were very close.
I got invited to, Jeb had a retreat at Kennebunkport this year, and I was going to go, but I had a conflict. I've never been there, but I was going to go up just to see history, and I'll go next year.
Last question. Your family, 4 kids, very successful financially. Nowadays, you see the stats of young men don't want to get married, don't want to have kids. Young men don't know what it is to be a man nowadays, like they did maybe back in the days. It's a massive crisis. People on the left are talking about it. People on the right are talking about something that they're all gradually, Scott Galloway the other day was being interviewed by Ben Stiller, and he told Ben Stiller, like, listen, men are not having enough sex. They're having a hard time finding girls. They're having a hard time making kids. They're having a hard time with this whole marriage thing. What advice would you give to young men that are looking for a wife?
Well, first of all, what you just described is what they call beta boys. You ever heard of beta boys?
Of course, absolutely.
So that's who they are.
Yeah.
There are more women in dental school than men now. There are more women in law school than men now. There are more women in medical school than men now. Women are becoming, like in some animal kingdoms, the women rule the roost.
Mm-hmm.
And this whole beta boy thing is a crisis for America because, where are the men?
Mm-hmm.
I think in this day and time, I never was around for online dating, and I don't think I would want to do online dating. I like to go in and, do it live.
You and I both.
I don't need that. But at this day and time, people aren't in bars. People are not drinking. I own a restaurant in Disney Springs called Wine Bar George, and, wine sales are down. And I got one of the great sommeliers, George Miliotis. If you ever go to Disney, call me and let me set up the greatest wine of your life. George Miliotis is like one of the top grand sommeliers in the whole world. But wine is down, booze is down, people aren't going out. So what I would say to people in business, there's a book called Never Eat Alone.
Mm-hmm.
And the concept of the book is if you're at home, you're not going to find business. I would give the same advice to my kids or to these kids. Get out, network, mingle, go, do something. I don't care if it's your church or your temple or wherever. Get out of the house and put the damn Nintendo paddles down and quit gaming in the basement at 25 and living at mom and dad's. Get up, get out, get busy.
As simple of an advice as that is, John, it is so profound. as you know, to you and I, we may look at it and say, "What's the big deal?" It is life-changing. I'm in Vegas the other day. Vegas is getting destroyed because they no longer have the traffic they had. Why? You can gamble online. You can swipe right online. You have no reason to go to Vegas. When they say whatever happens in Vegas stays in Vegas, whatever happens in Tinder stays on Tinder. Like that is no longer like that complicated of a deal of what to do. But
the other thing I'll tell you, interesting stat. My son just got married in Maui. Now he's got off the couch. He was out. He's a mingler. But this book I wrote that's being edited, Life is Luck. I did a thing about who you marry. That's a big piece of luck. 50% of Americans, ended up in divorce. 62% of second marriages end in divorce. 73% of third marriages in divorce. But here comes a statistic.
Here we go.
Whoever gets married after 30, there's only 4% get divorced. So my advice to these young men is get it out of your system. Get it out of your system, because a lot of people get it out of their system after they've been married, and that doesn't work.
No, and by the way, it's crazy you say that. It's a lot of times because if you're maybe you're not good with the girls, you get married first, then you get a lot of attention, and you never played a lot. Later on, you're now getting attention.
Can you find my son's bride? Is it on Facebook? Anyway, he got married at 36. They went to Japan for Dan Morgan and Thaisa. That's me, but anyway, when they came back, let me see. Is there a wedding picture? There they are. When they came back from Japan, I said, Dan, how does it feel not to be a virgin anymore?
You said that too?
Yeah. Get it out of your system.
Well, in Japan, you can, my friends of mine that went to Okinawa in the military, they got it out of their systems many times. They almost didn't want to leave the system in Japan. Right. They wanted to stay there because they got treated so well. Yeah, it's out of control. John, I have to tell you, and I'm being very straight up, one of my favorite conversations of 2025 is you. And I'm being straight up.
Really?
Rob, how many times have you heard me say this at the end of the podcast?
Very minimum. I've been here 4 years. Very minimum.
Yeah. One of my favorite conversations.
Wow.
And I tell you, our guys are like, Pat, we got to get John. We got to get John. I'm telling you guys going to hit it off. I'm like, what are you talking about? He said, just trust us. And then now they were right. One of my favorite conversations of the year.
Can I ask you one last
question? Of course, yes.
Favor.
Yes.
Would you have the Mossad take me straight to the plane? And don't frisk me on the way out?
Well, we just got to make sure we call Adam. Adam will make one phone call to AIPAC and Mossad, and they'll take care of it. But, sir, really, really an honor. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. And by the way, go to Morgan & Morgan. We're going to put the website for the people. Will be below. Visit his site. Take care, everybody. God bless. Bye-bye, bye-bye. The FLB shoes. By the way, I am officially on, let me see this. I'm on day 57 out of 58 that I've worn these shoes. Love wearing these shoes every single day. I think Vinny's got it on. The other night we went to dinner. Vinny was wearing this black pants, white shirt with the FLB shoes. We walk into the restaurant, 7 girls lined up waiting to meet with Vinny.
One girl was crying. She was crying. She was shaking.
She was crying. She was shaking.
The shoes. I was like, I can't.
Are you Ringo Starr?
So for those of you guys that are asking about getting the shoes before Christmas for your husband or your sons or your friend, this is what you want to be thinking about. Size black and brown. Size black and brown. Let me see this thing here from Black and White. So let's go to or what's available. So size black and brown. If you want to get them, size 9, 10, and 11 are available to get before Christmas. White, all sizes are available except for 7, 7.5, and 8.5. Navy, 8, 9, 9.5, 10, and 11 are available before Christmas. Of course, after Christmas, shipment is coming. That'll be here New Year's. These things, we can't even keep these on the shelves, to be honest with you, with the shoes. Once you put them on, just go read the reviews, with people writing reviews when they bought them. Once you put them on, you'll realize why this has become as hot of an item for us as we expected it. Took us 2 years to do this, Rob. If you want to play the clip on that, we'll get into the stories. Here's the FLB shoes. Go for it. When we set out to create a shoe that blends comfort, function, and luxury, we had the choice to make it fast We had the choice to make it cheap. We chose neither. Instead, we chose Tuscany, Italy. We chose true Italian craftsmanship, each pair touched by 50 skilled hands. We chose patience, spending 2 years perfecting every detail, and we chose the finest quality at every step. Introducing the Future Looks Bright collection. Not rushed, not disposable, not ordinary. Rather, intentional, luxurious, timeless. I love it. Designed in Florida, 100% made in Italy. Folks, if you haven't yet ordered one, we had 2 guys yesterday that ordered 4 of all colors. And one of them was from UK. The other one was from Belgium or something like that, ordering these shoes. If you want to find out how it matches against everybody else, go to vtmerch.com. On the homepage, you'll see the shoes. Click on the link to go learn more about the shoes and place an order for your husband, for your spouse, for your son, for somebody maybe that works for your company as a recognition. And go to vtmerch.com to place your order.